Welcome back to What's Brewing with Humble Joe's Coffee. Our special guest this week is Shawn Malone. Shawn Malone is 48 years old and a child of God. He is married to his wonderful wife, Jennifer, who he loves very much. Shawn knew he always wanted to work for himself and was well on his way as he had a paper route at the early age of 10 years old. In his early adult years, he worked for several small businesses, learning a great deal from those experiences. Food is his love language, and this is how he shows his love and care for others. He inherited his love for food and people from his grandma, Pat. On April 1st, 2006, Shawn began his own journey by starting the Brooklyn Pizza Company. With Brooklyn's great success, Shawn also launched the Seymour Brewing Company in June of 2017 and has not looked back since. We are super excited to sit down and chat with Shawn Malone. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Justin with Humble Joe's Coffee. We are here with our third episode of What's Brewing with Humble Joe's Coffee. Took about a month off, had a lot of things going on. That's finishing up some school stuff and some basketball stuff. So now we're back on track with our third episode. Pretty excited. We're live on location with Shawn Malone, and we have Corey Murphy here. We're at Harmony Park, Brooklyn Pizza, and Seymour Brewing Company. So pretty excited to be here. So Shawn, thanks for coming.
Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Corey, again, thanks for coming and doing your thing.
I'm here a lot.
You are. So we're going to just jump right in like we have the past couple episodes. And Corey's going to make us some coffee.
Sounds great.
We're going to chat about coffee and life and just go from there. So, Shawn, we'll go ahead and get started. So, in talking about coffee, what is your most memorable experience as far as drinking a cup of coffee, or why do you drink coffee?
Sure. I think as a very small child, I remember my grandfather, my grandpa Malone. He was a daily coffee drinker, and drank coffee all day. And so a lot of times I spent on his lap trying to steal drinks of his coffee. And then eventually I was old enough that I could sit and enjoy a cup with him. And so that's just always been a big part of my life, is smelling that coffee in the morning, waking up at my grandparents' house, and then being on his lap, and then just always, having that coffee aroma in the house. So
for sure.
Yeah.
I really, I get that. That's an important part of my life too, as I was growing up with my family, sharing coffee with them. So tell us a little bit about your daily coffee routine. What does it look like for you?
Sure. We're kind of, we're old school, new school. We do a lot of just regular coffee pot, coffee making at our house. And if I'm on the go and trying to get out of there quickly, I'll throw in a K-cup and drink it that way. But more than not here lately, it's about iced coffee for me. It's just with the heat coming on and being out here a lot at Harmony Park, I like having a nice cup of iced coffee, and the wife makes it pretty strong for me. Keeps me going, so that part's helpful.
Now, do you add anything to your iced coffee, or is it just straight black ice cold coffee?
No, she does like a sweet cream in there. Kind of, just doctors it up a little bit for me. So,
very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. I do the drip coffee maker too as well, and started doing some cold brew. I really enjoy that. But Murphy, he brought his AeroPress here. We're going to try some AeroPress coffee.
Okay.
Murph, you want to tell us a little bit about that and why you love it so much?
Oh, man. It's just like all of us, right? Forged by heat and pressure. It's just a giant syringe, and it extracts all the coffee, makes a low acidity, low bitterness coffee, low volume coffee as well.
It smells wonderful.
It is great. You end up having to cut it. Like, you end up having to do almost an Americano at some point.
Okay.
So it'll be maybe, however you guys want to grab one of those.
Cool. So we're going to taste our new blend, our rucksack blend.
Nice.
Murphy kind of helped me develop this. He's a light roast guy, and so went back and forth with a couple names and a couple options, and so this is what we came up with. It's actually a blend of El Salvador and Peru. They're both light roasts. So I don't know how hot it is, but I'm going to check it out, see if it's any good. See if Murphy did a good job.
We'll see. You roasted it.
It's wonderful.
That's good, Joe.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
From the roasting standpoint, the light roast is the toughest.
Okay.
Because it takes the less time, and you drop it at the lower temperature than your medium and your dark, but it's a very fine line before it's underdeveloped.
Okay.
So if you don't roast it long enough, it's not going to be developed. It's going to taste green. You're going to get some real high acidity, and it's just not any good. So
yeah. when you reached out to me and asked what kind of roast I wanted, I said light roast.
Said Folgers.
Well, a lot of folks will, come through and want us to try coffee and stuff, and we're thankful for it. We get a lot of that coming through the brewery, and they always want to kick you a dark roast, a dark roast, a dark roast.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of that stuff around, and so when he gave me the choice, I gave him light roast.
That's
so
awesome.
Now I understand why it's
there you go.
Yeah, it's a little more difficult to roast.
And the thing with the light roast is you get to get those hints of the fruit. So it actually tastes a little bit. I taste a little bit of lemon.
Yeah.
A little peach maybe on the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably the toughest one to roast, and I'm still working on it. It's something I'll probably continue to work on. Most of my light roasts tend to be maybe just a tad bit darker than your true light roast, just because I'm worried about it being underdeveloped. But
does the roasting actually change the I don't know, the strength of the coffee?
Not really. That's really the bean itself.
Yeah.
And so the light roast coffee actually has a higher caffeine content.
Yeah.
Because the longer it roasts, more the caffeine is kind of burnt out through the roasting process.
Yeah. Have you ever had, my grandparents used to make this little dessert, and it was saltine crackers with a little bit of butter and sugar, and then you just spoon your coffee all over the crackers.
Yeah. What's it called?
I have no idea what it's called, but it's amazing.
Are you going to start serving it?
I don't know. I really want some right now.
Maybe we have some.
Yeah. So you do a plate of those,
That's awesome.
And it's just a nice little dessert, and that you just spoon the coffee. That's the whole important part of it. You just can't dump it. So you spoon the coffee on each cracker lightly, and then it's an amazing dessert.
Is it like club crackers?
No, saltines.
Oh, saltines.
Saltines,
Okay.
butter, sugar, and then coffee.
Oh man, I'm in.
Yeah, it's probably
That
fat.
sounds like everything I like.
It's probably fat free.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure.
Yeah, I like fat free things, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move on that point. Professionally, what's some of your proudest moments as far as what you've done professionally here at your place?
Being in business almost 18 years now, I'm just still proud of where we came from, how we started, how we invested into our community from the word go, with the idea that whatever we put back into the community, we'd see it back, right? And we do, and we keep seeing it back. And so I'm proud of Brooklyn Pizza. We came from very humble beginnings, and the fact that we've stuck it out 18 years, and that we can support an outdoor music venue and a brewery, and people still love us for our pizza. And so very proud of that.
I think that translates on the other side too. You hear a lot of people like, man, Shawn's a good dude. Everybody knows Shawn. Shawn knows everybody. Like, I think that pays off in spades. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's nice. It's really nice. Somebody said something the other night to me at a wedding reception that we had out here, and they just said, man, I'm sure you hear it all the time, and I'm not just blowing smoke, but I really appreciate what you do. Like, that still makes me feel good.
That's cool.
I'm still thankful to be able to do business in my community and where I grew up, and to be able to employ 5 or 6 high school kids now at this point, as well as 6 or 7 adult staff members, and to give back just through that. Like, I felt like people treated me that way when I was young and coming up in Seymour. They weren't afraid to take chances on you if you worked hard. And so I'm thankful that I have those kind of employees now, and those kind of young folks in here that are wanting to be a part of what we do. They appreciate live music. They appreciate the arts. They appreciate creating product, that we're not just opening a bag and serving it. We're creating things.
That's awesome. You may never know the impact you'll have on their lives. Just by working with them and giving them those chances.
I hope not. I hope I can just go through life and be humble about things, and not that I wouldn't be in that instance, but I hope I affect people and I never even know it, because that's really what I'm trying to do.
Good. I love that. So we kind of talked about it there, but I'm going to put you on the spot. If you were going to say, my mission is, what's the mission of Shawn Malone and what you do here?
Yeah. I think that is to just create a really comfortable, nice restaurant space where people know they can get out and enjoy friends and neighbors, and know that it's a good, safe, clean environment. We have family-friendly events out here almost every day. Very rarely do we make it a 21 and above scene. So you can bring your pets here to Harmony Park.
Done that.
And so
I've even brought my daughter.
Yeah, the other night I think we had a show here, and we had 7 or 8 dogs and about 3 times as many kids and about 10 times as many adults. And so to me, it's really neat to have created a space where so many different people in our community can get together and feel good.
It's awesome. I love it. Now, the coffee's cooled just a tad I want to hear, what are some tasting notes that you guys are picking up on?
I'm tasting the peach.
You tasting a little bit of it?
Right at the end there. I do love I really love the flavor of this coffee. It's really good.
Good.
I don't really need to add anything to this. It doesn't even need a little bit of sugar in it. It's got a nice sweetness about it.
So do you notice the lack of bitterness at all from the AeroPress?
Yeah, I don't think it's bitter at all.
Yeah.
And that is priced through the roasting process too.
Yeah.
Roasting
Well,
got
yeah.
rid of some of the bitterness.
Nice.
But with this light roast, you will taste a little bit of that fruit there at the end.
Yeah, I love it. It's very nice.
Yeah. Fruit and dark chocolate, man.
My introduction to coffee was Folgers for sure. My grandpa pulling it right out of a can. And so I really love a really just smell good dark coffee, but I've also learned to appreciate all these other coffees the last few years that I've been able to try and
It's like
taste.
beer, right?
It is like beer.
You didn't grow up drinking craft beer.
No.
Now you have craft beer and you're like, dude, this is
Yeah. And that's, in so much of what you do is what we do as well. We're creating something from the ground up. We're thinking of our customers in mind when we create these beers, and we create it from flavors, and how we boil it, the temperatures we take it to, the ingredients, adding like hibiscus or something like that to a beer might be unique in some places, but it's kind of a wide open space here. We're willing to listen to our customers, and they tell us kind of what they want to taste and what we hear, and we.
So do you feel like you have a pretty highly developed palate? Like, can you pick up on those flavors?
I do. I mean, being in food my whole life, yeah. I think I do my wife says I have a better palate than I'm willing to even eat.
Yeah.
Like I cook for her things that I wouldn't necessarily cook for myself. She's more adventurous eater than I, but she's taught me to be more adventurous. Working with Rich, our brewmaster, he's able to guide me through some of the things that I'm tasting sometimes when I don't quite know what it is, but I'm really enjoying it. And so my palate is becoming more open to figure out what kind of things we're brewing, and he's great. Our brewer's great. It really is.
So is he from here local?
Yeah, he's a local guy. We grew up together and worked at Karma Records together and went to Pantera concerts, man. Went to Rob Zombie. I think I sent you over a picture, and that's Rich and I and Rob Zombie. Awesome. And that was 1994. And so we've been friends a long time, and he's a great guy. So to be able to work with him here in my environment is a blessing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and keep moving on. As a small business owner myself, what's one tip you would give me personally, as I'm going through this adventure, just starting out?
Be prepared to get knocked down like several times. Don't be scared of that. Like I say it so easy now. When I first heard it when I was young, Kenny Spohr, he's a great man, and he had businesses here in Seymour his whole life, and I respected him so much, and I would talk to him anytime I'd see him. I'd get a chance to talk to Kenny. I would, and Kenny would tell me that then, my first 1, 2, 4, 5, 10 years of business before he passed. He would say, I see you, and you're doing good, and I know you're taking some licks, and you're just, you're pushing through. And so when other small business owners approach me and ask me, tips to this or secrets to that, there really isn't any. Perseverance is always going to be the thing that gets you over the top, hopefully, and not being scared to get back up after you get knocked down, because you will get knocked down. I've learned so much from all those things that have kicked my butt that I think they've made me a stronger business person in the end. And so I just always tell people, get up, get up, keep going.
I think it's easy to say and it's hard to do it.
Yeah, it is. And I'll probably say that I was just so stubborn and hard-headed about this is what I wanted to do in life. I worked for lots of small business owners, Paul May and Dave Eggers and Andy Royalty and different guys who I still look up to this day. And they were small business owners very young, starting. And I was so young, and I saw them take the knocks and still keep doing it because they wanted to work for themselves. And that's what I always wanted to do. I always wanted to work for myself, and I wanted to create the world that I was going to live in. And so that's what Brooklyn Pizza has done for me.
Well, there's nothing better than saying, can we do that? And you go, yeah, we can do it.
Yeah.
I'm the boss.
Yeah.
That's pretty empowering.
Yeah.
But you have to be humble as well.
Yeah. And some of the times the thing is like, this might not work, right? But man, it might. really work if we try it real hard and
Be the
go at
next
it.
big thing.
Right. It could be the next big thing. And so I take a few bumps for sure, but I'm happy to take those and go, yeah, let's learn. And it sometimes those bumps over here help me on my road over here, right? Like if
Hmm.
it's brewery related, and the next thing you know, I learned something, and so all of a sudden we got that right, and now the brewery is working great, and the pizza is working great, and so um, yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect. What about projects? Anything currently you're working on new? Any new offerings you're going to have for the community, or
Yeah,
what's
so
coming up?
we just currently received our federal distiller's permit, and so we are the first licensed distillery with a federal permit in Jackson County. We're waiting on our um, state permits now. We've sent in our paperwork for that, and hopefully we'll be seeing that real soon. It's something I've been working on for quite a while. I've drug my feet over it a couple of times. Coming out of COVID, I started working on it, and things would progress, and then they'd slow down, and then they'd progress, and then I'd slow down. Coming out of COVID, figuring out the marketplace and figuring out employees has been a battle, but it's also made me grow as an owner beyond what I thought I was ever capable of growing. Learning how to interview better and to interview well and to look for the best things in people that I can possibly find that could benefit us here and also benefit them, as individuals. I want people to feel great about working here. So yeah.
That's good. So with the distiller's license, what does that open up? Any different doors, or what could you do with that, or what are your
Yeah, so in the state of Indiana, you're allowed three. There's three different permits you're allowed to. You can possess a brewer's license and a winery, or a winery and a distillery, or a brewery and a distillery. They don't want you to have all three, and so that'll open up the door to just producing some other kinds of drinks that we'd like to make for our customers. I don't want to get into it too big.
yeah?
If I'm telling too much of a secret on myself, I think in the end. It'll be a really nice package. It'll be a brewery, a pizza, a distillery, and they'll all go really well together. I guess to speak on a couple of other projects that we have going on, we have our food truck, and we're gonna plan on being out more and more with it this year. Um, we bought it right during COVID,
Yeah.
and so we were thankful to be able to use it in the Oktoberfest and to get out and use it a little bit. But the doors are opening up big time, and Seymour's really diving in on the food truck scene, and so I'm happy about that. When I was a city councilman, I approached the city council at the time and just said, we need to look at food truck laws. And I think at the time we had the Flying Pig barbecue truck here, and there was maybe like one other one, and so there was two. And people were like, "Well, it's probably not going to be a big deal, it's Seymour." And I said, looking in the future, I can imagine 20 or 30 food trucks coming to our community on a weekend. And I think I just heard from City Hall the other day we have 24 registered food trucks with the city that have permits, and so that number didn't take too long. Within a handful of years, it got there, and so I was thankful to be a part of making some of those laws or help put some of those laws into place that protect not only our brick and mortar businesses here in our community, but the food truck vendors as well. There's enough for everybody. You just need to make sure you're playing in the right areas and playing in the right territories. So
Maybe one day we'll see a Humble Joe's coffee truck.
that would be nice. That would be nice.
So, last question here, and we've kind of touched on it a couple times, but you're in customer service for a reason. But why do you love it so much?
Yeah, my grandma Pat, uh, Patricia Beinecke, she served the table at our house, and she just enjoyed it so much. I don't think she would ever sit down, and I think other people could speak on that too. She spent her time in service of her family, and so woo, oh God, um, sorry.
Okay, you get it.
It's all right.
Yeah, so it led me to believe that that's how you wanted to treat people, right? You wanted to be in service, and you wanted to um, speak to them through your food and show your love that way. And so that's where that comes from.
That's awesome. Very admirable. I love it. Love it. Well, I think that wraps up the episode for today. I had a great time here listening to your story,
Me too.
drinking some rucksack blend coffee, light roast from Humble Joe's, and
I really
thanks for being here.
Thanks. I
Corey,
really enjoyed it.
Thanks.
with an empty one.
Yeah.
We'll see ya.
Take care.